Hey, welcome back. In this short training video, I want to cover how to easily outline a nonfiction book. So for you that are very new to this idea, fiction is basically fake, made up ideas, stories, experiences, characters, all that. Nonfiction is for experts, speakers, coaches, consultants, someone that's an expert in a particular area, or you want to be a specialized expert and you're authoring an idea. So in this short video, I want to share with you how to properly outline and structure your book in a very easy way that it really cuts the writing process really almost in half. So if you have any questions or you want to share a book idea with me, just drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Or if you have any specific questions, go ahead and drop those in as well. So I'm sharing the screen on this one, so I just want to kind of guide you right through here, and then I'll answer any questions that come up in the comments. So the way it really starts with outlining a nonfiction book properly is it really starts with the purpose of the book. So anytime that we look at a purpose of a nonfiction book, there's a couple of different reasons why someone would write a book. The number one is what we call contribution. So when someone wants to write a book for contribution, it's because they have a message that's really important to them. They have an idea that they want to get out into the world. They have something that's really important that they want to share with a lot of people. That's what we call contribution. Hey, Kimberly, thanks for joining on. Hello, Samuel. The second reason that many of our author clients come to us is for clients. So a book is a great way to open doors to get in front of new audiences, new speaking engagements, so that you can get in front of more of a group that could be your ideal client to influence, persuade, build trust, credibility, rapport, and authority. And it's a great way to be able to do that. The third reason is for credibility. So with credibility, it also ties into the idea of getting clients, but if you want to be a specialized expert in a particular area, a book is a great way to build authority and credibility on a particular topic. Then your book is noteworthy, where you can go and you can get in front of a media appearance. You can go and you can get in front of new audiences or speak in an event or a conference or something like that. A book is really a great justifier that I've got some information I've never shared before in this book, or a story or a method or my experience that I've never shared before that I've packaged into a book. It helps basically can and clone your message and what you want to put it out into the world. Thanks, Kimberly, for that comment. I really appreciate that. So those are the three primary reasons: contribution, clients, and credibility. So that's the purpose of the book for you as the author and how it contributes to your ideal reader. The next thing to easily outline and structure a nonfiction book is to look at the structure itself. So anytime that we look at structure, let me just erase this. When we're looking at book structure, I like to think of it like a skeleton of a body, or when this is a great example I like to share with many of our clients is when sculpting a sculpture. So for those of you that can see my screen here, and I'll describe it as well for you on the live. If we were to sculpt, let's say, a very large, I don't know, an animal like a horse or maybe a dolphin, right? Because they have a long body. So when you would sculpt a dolphin, they wouldn't just take a lot of clay and take the body of the dolphin, which would look something like this, right? So the body of a dolphin is long and arched, right? So we would just take a big load of clay and start molding it. What they would do is they would create a base and a foundation first. Okay, so imagine a thick, heavy, that can sustain enough weight for the body of the sculpture. Then what would happen is they would take usually as steel barbs or some kind of a steel structure, and they run it through the base of where the structure of the sculpture will go, right? And then they, almost like a skeleton, would run these pieces throughout the sculpture. Now, when I'm talking about outlining a nonfiction book, hey, thanks for joining us here on the live. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments here. I'm glad to answer them for you. We're talking about outlining a nonfiction book for experts, speakers, coaches, consultants. So when you're looking at the overall outline and the structure of the book, think of it like outlining and structuring for a sculpture is you have to have enough to support the sculpture itself, the weight of it, and then almost like a skeleton to sustain it. And then a wire frame is built for the structure, and then the clay goes on top, right? So it's very similar for outlining a book. That's why I kind of relate it to that, is in order to support the structure of the content for your book, if we look at it as a skeleton or a structure, you have what's called the table of contents, right? And the table of contents acts as the skeleton and the structure for the book. So what you want to do is look at that as the skeleton and the structure. How does it serve the purpose that you want it to serve? If you want to be a professional speaker, how can it serve that purpose? And so we want to look at it from a logical point A to point B journey for the reader, and what are the logical steps that someone would go through to get the insights that you want to give them to serve the purpose for the book. So when you're outlining it, we want to look at it from broad picture first of topic A, and then topic B, and then topic C, all the way through the book, so that it serves the purpose. It gives the reader the insights you want, the credibility that you would like to deliver, how you want to influence that reader, and how you want to help them, right? So is it a method you want to share with them? Is it insights you want to give them? Many of our clients are, like life coaches, or we've had some sales trainers, consultants, workshop leaders, things like that. And we help them to structure and outline the book properly so that it serves that purpose. And these are always the steps that we go through. So let's now go into the next section here, and that is chapter elements. So with chapter elements, what we always look at, if we're going to go back to this, let me just kind of sketch this out for you here. Chapter elements are, now that we have, so we have a book, we have our chapters outlined. We're going to take one chapter out and look at the chapter as a whole. Chapter elements are things like data points to bring credibility and social proof and credibility to the points that you're making. What are the people that you want to mention in your book? So data, people, and what's maybe a story that you could share in your book to help bring credibility, bring your experiences into it, bring a connection with the reader as well. So these are all elements that we consider to put in there to serve the purpose of your book. So those are what we call chapter elements. Next are what we call chapter transitions. So these are all the components and the pieces that you want to have available for you when you're outlining and structuring your book. So let's look at chapter transitions. So let me just sketching this out, get rid of this. So now chapter transitions. What that is we have, let's say, chapter 1, and then we have chapter 2. So chapter 1, let me bring up my, whoops. So let's say chapter 1 is on topic A. Because it's about chapter 1 is about topic A, let's say, and then you're transitioning into chapter 2 is on topic B. So when the reader is consuming the content and reading the book, we want to have a nice transition from topic A to topic B. The way that we do that is, let's look at the book let's say this is one chapter. You have your introduction, you have your body, and then you have your conclusion at the chapter. At the end of the chapter, what you do is you make a note or you suggest about topic B. And that's a transition where you're talking, let's say, about dolphins in that example, which is kind of a wacky example, but let's just look at that as it could be anything. You're talking about dolphins and you want to transition into, let's say, the temperature of the ocean that the dolphins live in. So what you would do is make a note about the body temperature of the dolphins, and that's why it's so important to maintain the ocean levels, the temperature of the ocean levels maintain the temperature that they are for the health of the dolphins. You end the chapter. Now you go into the next chapter about the temperature of the oceans as an example. So, and I know that has nothing to do, but that gives you an example of what I'm describing. We've had life coaches that, let's say, as an example, talking about emotional intelligence. You would break the chapters. Let's say a book about emotional intelligence. One chapter is, let's say, about what it is, and then the next chapter is about why it's important. Well, at the end of what it is, you would just touch on why it's important. It creates a nice transition into the next chapter. So that's the whole point. So that's it for how to easily outline your nonfiction books. Those are a couple of points to consider for you. So just in a quick summary here. First, you want to consider the purpose of your book. What is the purpose for you, and what's the purpose of the book for the reader? Really consider, like, what are the main points there. Look at your book as a structure, building a skeleton first, and then building out the body of the book. Consider chapter elements, parts that are in the chapter, things that you want to include in each chapter before you even get to the writing. Then look at chapter transitions. What's a logical thing that you could cover inside of chapter 1 to transition into chapter 2? Okay, so those are a few of the points that I wanted to cover here with you today. Now, by the way, each of these components are really just one piece of a 9-step framework that we have developed called the Authority Coach Blueprint. There's really 3 phases to publishing a book. Number 1 phase is the foundation. That's the structure and the outline of your book. Phase number 2 is the production. So everything involved with the production of your book is getting your expert platform in place, getting your book published, getting all of that in place. And then the 3rd phase is the launch and promotion of your book. If you can see my screen that I'm sharing on the video side of things, the launch. So looking at your front end, which is the book sales, book promotion, and the back end. The book leads into the products and services that you offer as a coach, consultant, or a speaker. Creating a promotion that turns your book into a #1 best-selling author. And then what we help our clients with in the 9th step of our process is a client acquisition strategy. Using your book as a tool to acquire new clients and get speaking engagement. So it's all part of that. What I covered here with you today is really just the content creation blueprint. You see this step 2 in this strategy. So if you would like a book outline template that we created, just drop a comment below and say book outline, and I'm happy to share. It's a PDF downloadable resource, and you can also get it in the description of this video. That will give you basically an outline structure template to help you structure and outline your book properly. So thanks for joining the live video. Great to see you. If you're watching this later when it's published, if you have any questions related to writing or publishing or promoting your book, happy to help you there. If you have any questions later on as well, where you have an idea about a book and you're wondering something, how it would connect with your business and what you do, glad to help you with that as well. All right, hope you enjoyed this, and on the next video we're going to talk about building your expert platform, what that means and how valuable that is. So be sure to subscribe so you get notified about that next video. All right, we'll see you next time.